or work out or like just listen to music. I like to just wake up and listen to music. Then I will start to wake up and be like, oh, there's no reason to be grumpy.
Dude,
And my day just started.
I was gonna say, like, you wake up at like early, like 7 a.m. Like, I'm always whenever I wake up, you're always awake in bed listening to music or something. So I feel like you kind of are a morning person. Like, if you can just naturally wake up that early and just kickstart your day, like,
Yeah. That's the first thing most of the time is wake up and I put an AirPod in. It's like, let's see what song starts the day off. That's my routine most of the time.
pretty dope. Yeah.
Seb's definitely like the resident like Oscar the Grouch, though. Like whenever he's grumpy, he's grumpy, man.
We all
Like,
know it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How
I'll
about
admit
you,
to it.
Graham? Any morning routines?
I mean, I feel like the fact that I woke up at 10 and got on this call, I think, kind of tells you what it needs to. But yeah, I mean, I just get up, I make a pot of coffee, and I feel like a lot of people are not hungry as soon as they get out of bed. I wake up and my stomach is growling. Like, I need something in my stomach immediately. So I usually get something small, like a bagel or whatever, granola bar or something, and yeah, just make a coffee, open a window, get some fresh air. That's it.
So touring in the van, you always carry some stuff with you as well, just to make sure that in the morning you always have something to eat.
Yeah, we always have snacks in the van, you know.
Yeah, or if we like wake up in a hotel or something, pretty much first order of business is like, let's go to a cafe or a coffee shop and grab a coffee and a bite to eat or something.
Well, living on the road, I mean, you don't have much of a structure anyways, right? It's kind of like you do follow like an itinerary, but it's all very unstructured. You never go to bed at the same time. You never really wake up at the same time. It depends on many variants, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like hard to maintain that. I've managed now just on my last tour that I just finished a couple of weeks ago to, for the first time in my life, to really go early, say 12 to bed, and get up at 8:30, like being on a tour bus, you know. So I was very proud of myself. I was like, wow, that's, you know, managing to go to bed that early, especially with my job and getting up early. I was like, wow, this is doable, this is great. I really try to um, I mean, I do love getting out, like, you know, seeing concerts and being out with friends and stuff. But I really find that whenever I go to bed before 12 and wake up naturally, say 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, or even 8:30, oh my goodness! I mean, my whole day is so different. I've got so much energy, you know. Whereas if I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and I sleep the same 7, 8 hours, I don't know. I feel a bit off, you know. But then again, everyone is an individual, so those things differ to each other, right?
Yeah, definitely feel. I feel like I'm losing my day if I wake up too late. Same.
I think there's something to be said about, like, you know, the light that comes through the window. Like, it really naturally kind of tells your body, like, hey man, like, you should really get up. So I feel like if you're sleeping through the period where the sun is coming through the window, it's kind of like interrupting your patterns. And there's definitely something to be said about that. I feel like they're just like natural, like, rhythms of your body.
Circadian rhythm, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
we should I mean, it's when I said that I drink my coffee and I look up to the skies, it's because the first thing that you should do within the first 40 minutes of waking up is to try and just be outside and look not via behind the glass, but literally look up to the skies and get the rays from the sunlight. Obviously, don't hurt yourself. Don't look straight directly to the sun, but you know what I mean. Get the clarity of the day coming through, because that sends a message to your brain that yes, it's time to wake up, and you do feel more energized. It's very different. Like, for example, here in England, I mean, we don't get that much of a sunshine like you guys do in LA. So you should stay for at least 15 minutes when it's cloudy, getting those rays, because that helps regulate your circadian rhythm. And I can't do it in the evenings, but you know, on evolutionary terms, you should also in the evening now just go outside and get the same. So you sleep when the sun goes down and you wake up when the sun goes up. That's what we did as animals forever, you know. But then, like nowadays, we modern society and everything. It's just so much harder. But there you go, Graham. You nailed it. That's very right, man.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet, all of you? I know that Matty, Seb, Graham, you guys were playing together, and then you met London. London joined the band afterwards. But were you guys like high school friends? Where does the connection between you guys come from?
Well, even pre-Seb, there's kind of a lot of history with me and Matty. Me and Matty went to school together since like middle school. We were kind of like, it's funny. I feel like me and Matty were in the friend group since like 6th grade, like mutuals, but we weren't like instant best friends or whatever. Like it kind of took a while. It probably took till high school or like 8th grade ish, I guess, until we were like, really started to kind of, lock in. And
you said that one like a certain individual we know.
I tried for it.
Stupid.
Yeah, so then we just started kind of playing music because of our friend Ryan. He was the guy that brought a guitar to the school, and so he basically made us the guys who brought guitars to school, and we just kind of fell in love with the music and started singing, and then we're stupid enough to move to California and start a band from Texas. So along the way, Seb, you want to kind of take over your part of the puzzle?
Sure. So the guys moved into a house down the street from me in West Covina. And it's just like one random night, like went on a walk with my mom, and there was like a hole in a wall, like a big opening, and we just heard them jamming. It was actually our song Bad News that they were rehearsing in the studio, or not in the studio, in the garage. And my mom was like, "Let's go check them out," and I was like, "I don't really wanna." And then she's like, "You gotta do it. We have to do this." And then we listened to their whole rehearsal, and my mom, she did everything. She knocked on the garage door, and they came out. You could hear them in the garage, like, they probably thought it was a noise complaint. So they're like, "Oh God, someone's here to complain." So, and they walked out. My mom did all the talking. She was like, "We love your guys' sound. He's a guitar player, and he loves metal music, and you guys should switch numbers and totally jam." And a week later, they hit me up, and we jammed, and that was 3 years ago now.
That's a cool story. I didn't know about that.
I think we sent you. It was literally, we probably had like 2 jams in, and we just like sent you the songs, and we were like, "All right."
Yeah, here's your audition.
Yeah.
and
then for like the first time we played Block Road together, you were just like shredding over everything. Like first, you were just like
the whole thing. I actually didn't learn the songs right. You guys had to teach me, and then we were like, it actually doesn't go like that. You got it wrong. I thought that was it. I thought I was out of the band at that point. I was like, God, I didn't learn the songs right. What's the point? They're not going to take my 16-year-old. Yeah.
You just found the Metallica scale. You found the Kirk Hammett scale.
Yeah, I learned all the Kirk Hammett scales, and then just went from there.
So then, you guys played together for how long before you joined London?
For 2 years.
Probably 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2 years, and then London. You want to tell the story?
Yeah, it's not as cute and with Hallmark, but I was jamming or filling in with another band that our producer Jim Kaufman does, and then he hit me up saying these guys needed a drummer, and we started jamming. The rest is kind of haven't been.
Yeah, he like gave you our EP vinyl, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, wait, that was long before though.
Got it.
Was it?
Okay. Wow.
That's like sitting somewhere in my stack over there.
He was planting the seed, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I went to do a meeting with said other band to like track a record for them that never ended up coming to fruition. And at that meeting, he gave me the EP. I think it was either right before it came out or right after. So what is that, 2022 or 2023?
Well, what did he say to you? Was he just like,
He's like, this is a new band I'm working with. Check it out. It's dope. That was it. Like, I just want you to have this.
cool?
And that was the first time I met him. So
Yeah.
I thought it was bad.
Yeah, that was probably 2023, I think.
Copy.
Yeah.
Dude, that's very cool. Everything sounds so organic, and it's not only the musical capacity of each individual that obviously makes the group, and it makes you guys who you are in terms of being the band, you know. But I think if London was a great drummer that could just play exactly what you guys wanted, but if he was not, you know, a nice person, that wouldn't work, right? Seb, same thing, right? You could have met these guys, they were making some noise, and then you end up meeting them, and it's just like, the vibe is just not there. And the fact that we spend so much time together, right? Like when you go on the road, it's like there's no escaping. You're in that van, you're in that hotel, you're in that venue, and repeat. You know, it's such a part of the business that it's so important. I mean, a lot of times it's even more important than other factors. You know, it's like, how can you do you want to be around these people? Do you want to share? You know, be close to each other. And with that in mind, are you guys good at dealing with not so good moments? Say Seb is not in a very good mood, or the tire gone flat, or something's happened with the gear, a gig got cancelled for whatever reason, or somebody got bad news. How do you manage to navigate those moments? Are you guys like very capable? You come across as a big yes to me, but I'm asking you in terms of how do you manage to communicate with each other? Are you guys able to say, okay, I'm not in a good mood now, and I'm going to talk now, and I'm going to talk later? How do you navigate those situations between ourselves?
We've been through one of those moments, Carl, whenever Chevelle was like, you know, whenever Pete got sick and they had to cancel the shows. Do you remember that?
Of course, yeah.
And we were like, oh man, like what are we gonna do, you know? So
I think sorry, Graham, I'm gonna
no, go ahead. Yeah.
I think from like personal experience, obviously being with these guys almost every day now, I think if I'm obviously in my bad mood late at night or early in the morning, and you know one of these guys are with me, I feel like it's just always a laugh fest. Like I'm just always giggling because they're saying something so stupid, or they're just being dumb, or they're just so funny that like it just overtakes my bad mood or anything that I'm going through. Where I'm like, God, I just don't want to talk to them right now, and then like there's the other thought in my head like, God, but they're so dumb. They're so funny.
I know.
Like,
That's like I'm being like he lays down on the hotel bed, like, full clothes, and we're like, dude, Seb, you got to take your pants off, bro. We're like, here, bro, we'll get them off for you, man. Here you go, dude.
It's like how are you gonna be grumpy whenever someone's trying to take their pants off? You know?
Exactly.
I should add, whenever your homie is trying to take your pants off. Okay? We're not getting. We're not getting.
If it was like a random person in our hotel room.
Right.
Housekeeping.
But this is it. The way that you guys just answer the question, mainly Seb, basically translates the whole. I mean, I can see it on all of your faces. You know how, and obviously I know you guys. I've met you. We've toured together. How you vibrate in this very positive, good frequency. You know, and I think honestly that's something that you can tell from like seeing you on stage, from hanging with you, from the way that you communicate with people, the way that you are, you know. And I think it's such like honestly, it's great. It's great because I mean you end up meeting people in this industry, musicians, non-musicians, people that work in the industry, and there's a bunch of people that are just like not very grateful, and you all come across as being very grateful for being able to be on this band, for being able to produce the music, and grateful for the opportunities that you guys are having, and I think that's very admirable. So kudos to you all.
Dude, thank you, man. I mean,
Yeah,
we have to be like, there's too many things that have happened in, that are just, I don't know, sheer coincidence or whatever, to not be grateful. I mean, like, if Seb didn't go on the walk with his mom, and then his mom didn't have the, motivation to knock on the door and to be so as forward as she was, right? If we didn't move into the house next to Seb, if London wasn't in that band that went into Jim's studio, like if the band chose a different producer, like, there's just so many things that like had to happen to make this entire thing work. And I think that it's true in the biggest macro sense and also in the tiniest micro senses. And just, for all of that to happen and not to be a little grateful for it is you're just a fool,
Well said. Well said. I think there's something like divine about it. Is it's like you have now a duty that's like above like yourself, above each and every one of us. It's like we're now put together for a reason, and you gotta fulfill that, above.
I love that. I think that's a very good segue actually for us to talk about energy, spirituality, whatever you guys might believe in. If you guys have any beliefs or any spiritual practices, or just, I guess in a way, Graham and Matty already sort of like, touched on that ground, because yes, those coincidences, right? How can you explain those coincidences? How can you explain everything that you guys just described? And I firmly believe that there is, we believe so much in the five senses, right? We have five senses, and because of those, we perceive our reality. And based on this experience that we have, that we see, that we touch, we smell, we taste, we hear, we think that we know it all. And I think there's so much more out there in terms of what's actually happening, that are beyond, it's beyond, what your eyes can see, beyond what we can feel. So the reason of being in this group together, the reason of meeting people, the reason of like, waking up in the morning and being grateful, there's so many factors involved. And I don't want to talk about what I believe. If you want to know, I will tell you. And I believe I already told you many times when we were on tour together in one way or another. But how do you guys approach life in general? If you all could basically give me a little something in regards to that.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I guess I would, start with saying like, we don't, no one knows anything about anything. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know that I need a Sansamp pedal and a P bass and whatever sound comes out my amp sounds great whenever I have that combo. You know what I mean? That's like the brunt of my knowledge. I don't know really anything else. No, I'm just kidding. I think I definitely think that God, not to get too like religious or anything. I would say that I guess I'm religious, or maybe some people would call it spiritual, but like, I think that how do I even put this? Like,
I think there's something.
Someone else take this over. I need to think through this. Yeah.
I was gonna actually just chime in. I think for me personally, it's kind of like, also to not get super religious, but for me, it's more of like there's totally something out there beyond us that created everything to me, like like God. But I just personally would rather I guess you'd say rules. I wouldn't just rather put rules on my life, you know, because it's just not how I want to live. Like, like to set myself in a certain religion. I just rather believe that there is a God who is, loving, but also the same amount of loving that He gives to us is the opposite of that. You know, He's also very, hard on us as well, and for reasons that we don't know. Like Graham said, we don't really know anything, but but um personally, that's just how I live life. Like yeah, I also think like just morally, like just be a good person. I just think that common sense is a big thing in life. I mean, it's you don't want to just be, I don't know, I just don't understand the whole point of being mean to someone for no specific reason. Of course that person might be having a bad day or whatever, but I just think like morally you should just be good to everyone, you know for because the love of it, right? I mean, you be good to someone. What's the saying? You're good to someone, and you get what you deserve, right?
It'll come back. It'll come back to you.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that you should just live by that. I feel like if you're good to everyone, then you got a good life. That's how I go about it.
Yeah, life's definitely easier. Life's definitely easier whenever you're just like a decent person, like or like I just feel like I mean, more opportunities will present themselves. Like the right people will drop into your life. Just be as good as you can. Whatever that is to you, and
Yeah.
correct course along the way, because everyone fucks up, right? So it's like, even if you fuck up like pretty big, like I still feel like you can reconcile anything, and you can,
In the right way, for sure. I also think like you live, good, and you live morally as a good person, then you'll be rewarded with whatever God gives you in the afterlife. However He decides to do it to you.
Ooh, wait. Okay, wait. No, this is a good segue. I have some strong opinions on heaven and hell and whatever that is.
Go on.
Yeah. So I think that like we describe lots of religions describe an afterlife, and it's usually in the form of like good and evil. And I think what it is at its core is a description of a place that it's a description of a bed that you're making for your current self. And when you die, your legacy will live on in that realm. So it's not a place. You don't go there. Your soul, you're not like, I mean, I think everyone has like a soul, so to speak, but like you don't, like, your consciousness doesn't like go to like the pearly gates or like the fiery depths. Like you are, it's kind of like the soul of you, like your legacy, again, that lives in this place forever. So if you do lots of bad things, then everyone will remember you as a part of hell. Or if you do lots of good things, if you're a light energy person and you know give off these virtuous vibes, then you will ascend into just like a more virtuous realm. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, that's kind of, I think that's my take on.
Yeah, no,
on
I'm
thing.
with you. I'm with you. I firmly believe that what people, we give names to things, right? So you can describe your soul, your inner energy as a soul or consciousness, or like we give names to Christ, to Buddha, to Zeus, to so many different gods, right? But we always talk about one God, right? One main God, in the religious sense. And I believe that this God that we talk so much about is pure consciousness. We are all pure consciousness. If we close our eyes, when you go into deep meditation and you go to that place that, you sort of like find that little gap between one thought and another, and then you find that little gap between any sort of like stimulus to your brain, and you manage to just keep yourself on that little tiny little gap that you find to be very present, you can really notice that nothing really exists. It's only when you open your eyes and then we have consciousness, and then you activate whatever the mind is, because nobody can see a mind. We can open a head and see a brain, and we're studying, our nervous system and a bunch of things that we've been studying for not that very long, actually. We've been studying like the brain with the technology and the understandings that we have for the last 60 years. That's not that long for us to try to comprehend what is this creature now moving its hands and talking to people via screens, and who are we? We're this perfect symphony of cells and micro things, that are just operating. But the consciousness itself, it's just really difficult to explain, right? I mean, nobody can touch, nobody can see. You just know that you are conscious, and then you operate and you are awake and you can hear and you can, navigate this experience of ours. But ultimately, it's like, think one thing, again, not getting too much into religion at all, but like what Christ said, love your neighbor, love thy neighbor, like yourself, because we are all the same. What differentiates us is the fact that, oh, I'm conscious, my eyes are translating everything else as separate from me, but that's because I have this mind thing going on, that is giving me this perception. But when we close down, when this is all gone, what's left, then the energy thing comes up, right? We probably, I don't know, people talk about heaven and hell, like you said. I mean, I don't think there is a place that we go as this figure of ours. We tend to believe that everything is a figure, right? Because that's how we understand humans. We see a human, that's a figure. So imagine a spirit. I just saw a spirit of a person. It's always going to be a person. It's not going to be something that you have never seen before. It could be the spirit of maybe a dog or something that you have experienced, nothing that you haven't experienced while you're conscious. So with that, I mean, I love it. I love it because we get so much out of it when we deal with, like, I love the word that Seb used earlier on, integrity. We can have everything in life, but man, if you lose your reputation, if you're somebody that people, oh, that guy, it's not great, man, he stabbed someone in the back, he's like this, he's like that, you lose everything. You can be a wealthy person, but if people don't have good things to talk about you, then what's left? I always joke about, what's the point of being the richest man in the graveyard? Like, you can be like, whenever Elon Musk or Trump or whoever, passes, I mean, it's what this individual made people feel in life, what was left. And with music, that becomes something so like timeless, because the way that you make people feel when they hear your music, when they read your lyrics, when they see you perform on stage, that's something that, even if it's on that specific moment, at that only gig, you made something special for a bunch of people. So in that regard, I always thought, when I was a singer myself, I am a singer, but when I was actually singing in a band, I always thought, wow, that's pretty cool. If I'm playing a gig in front of 15 people, 150 people, 1,500 people, I mean, I do have somehow more responsibility than, I don't know, somebody working behind the counter in a kebab shop, because I'm basically passing a message to these people, energy, something. So I'd hope that people are taking something good out of that experience, So when it comes to your music and writing music, do you guys have any kind of like, is it just something that happens? Does lyrics come before the songs? Does the songs just generate themselves and then you guys just put it all together? Is there any sort of like particular way that you prefer to approach, or is it something that just happens naturally? And when it comes to lyrics, do you guys, what's the inspiration for that? Do you guys come together and say, hey, we're gonna write about this, or we're gonna be, I've been listening or watching this or reading this book or whatever, and I'm being influenced by that? Do you have that kind of discussion, or is it just a free flow of ideas?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of really good nuggets in everything you were just saying.
That was like super inspiring.
I was quite tuned in. But as far as the writing process goes, you know, usually, at least, you know, lyrically, it comes from Matty or I, and I think we're inspired by a lot of things, you know, not just other songs. You know, I think I was listening to what was it? Frog and Toad on Spotify, like the children's book. Because I know, right? Yeah, like someone brought it up, and I was like, man, I haven't like read those words in a while, and I started listening to it, and I was like, oh my god, this is like profound stuff, you know, in a children's book. And it was like, honestly, it was very inspiring. And I was like, you know, I feel like I'm like, I don't know, Matty, do you ever listen to something and you're like, oh man, I want to write a song about that, you know? Does that ever happen for you?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'll read a story. I used to read a lot of like short, like horror stories, and they'd be like 5 pages long or something, and it would just be like this super simple concept, and I tried it as like a writing exercise to just like try and like write some of those stories, like just make them into a song, and that turned into some pretty cool stuff. That was like, yeah, that was cool. I mean, it's either about experiences or about or something external, you know. Is it like something external, or is it something internal that's like you're talking about something that you've experienced or something that someone else has experienced, and you're just kind of putting it in your own words or something? I guess in a way you experience that as well, but like it's also just not that conscious most of the time. I think it's just whatever's at the top of your mind. You know, what you're inspired by recently. I mean, like the Tool thing's like a huge example, because like Seb and I were just like jamming Tool the entire way to rehearsal yesterday, and then we get into rehearsal and it's like, what's the first riff that comes out, bro? 13/8. Like,
yeah. 13/8.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, our process shifts a lot. Like, I think, generally speaking, you know, the song or the idea of the song will kind of come from either me or Matty. But there's been many cases where it will be jamming on a riff, and, you know, someone will throw a phone down, put it in the voice memos, and then like later on we'll kind of, you know, someone, either Matty or I, will like work on, you know, kind of a melody or something that kind of goes along with what we're cooking up full band. So, you know, it depends on the circumstance. But I think we just keep it free flowing. We keep it open, and I think it keeps everything fresh too. Like, you know, we're not really married to like one system. I think that's a surefire way to shoot yourself in the foot. Like, you gotta be pretty flexible and open to processes, for sure. That's how we like it.
When it comes to prepping for a tour, getting on the road, because playing at home and recording, somehow the physical aspect of it is different from going on the road and playing a gig for an hour every night and then traveling, and there's a different type of physical demand involved. Do you guys individually practice in a different way on the leading up to a tour? And that's question number one for each one of you. And then question number two, as a group, do you tend to schedule more uh, you will rehearse, I presume, but like, do you have like something, oh, we need to have 5 good rehearsals, or we have to have 2 weeks worth of rehearsals? How do you approach going on tour?
2 weeks is a pretty good rule. Right, that's typically what we do, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks. But we've been doing the 2 days, 2 days on, 1 day off, because we would usually, go into mates and do a couple days of rehearsals, like 4 days or something.
We blocked out like 5 days, like 4.
Yeah, and then it's just constant rehearsing, which just kind of tires you out after a while, and it just what's the word? It
like just blows you out. Like,
yeah, it just blows you out. And
well, when you get into like rehearsing live again, it's like you're like headbanging and moving and stuff, and like I remember like the first day of rehearsal, like my neck was so sore. And I was like, oh my God, like, ow, like, I haven't felt that, I haven't used that muscle in so long. Like, need the rest day. Like, that really helps, because you can't just, like, thrash around, like, go from 0, to 100 and, like, thrashing around for 5 days. So,
how's it for you, London, playing drums? I mean, because drummers, everyone performing on stage has a demand, but I mean, I think that drummers, especially rock drummers like yourself, there is a physical demand that you kind of have to have a certain level of stamina, and not only the skill of being able to perform the songs and play. How is there anything in particular for you that you like to do or like to follow, or is it just like, I'm just gonna sit on the drum kit and let it roll?
It's nothing like crazy. It's the same like warm-ups and like usual exercises that I'll like do anytime I sit down, but definitely the stamina is a big thing. So it's like just playing the songs until I can't anymore, and then I start counting myself playing them. So I like, especially like with these songs and the new stuff, a lot of the intensity is just like way more than the songs we were playing than when you saw us last. So getting myself in shape has been rad, and at least now I feel like everything in the set's pretty easy. But when we first started playing these songs, it was scary for sure.
I saw yesterday a video of the singer of Sum 41 on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that, dude?
Yeah,
that's badass, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
He just like runs around his living room doing the whole set singing.
Really?
Yeah, just like
awesome.
in circles, like doing jumping jacks and like running around his living room. He doesn't stop moving. He just does the whole set.
Really impressive shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a treadmill in my house someday so that I can the whole set. Like
I'll tell you something. When I saw the guy from Sum 41, I identified and understood him so well, because I used to do something similar to that, like running or even going on a treadmill, vocal exercises, while having to deal with my my breathing system. When my heart rate is up, it's just a different ball game when you do that. It's obviously the different types of singing and approaches. You wouldn't need Little Richard or Buddy Holly or Jim Morrison to be on that kind of regime. But like, if you get singers that are very like operatic or sing very high and move around as a frontman on stage, there's always something behind that, because you do need to kind of like be able to obviously perform and deliver the notes and hit the notes, but also if you are the kind of guy that will be running around, I mean, the physical aspect of it will be obviously very very important, and that includes obviously diet, not only exercises, right? Which brings me to the point that you guys gotta have some vitamins on your upcoming tour, boys. Come on, bring on the multivitamins in the van. I want to know if that's in the van. When the tour starts, I want to see what are you carrying. Please tell me that you're going to be carrying some multivitamins there.
We will send you pictures of what's in our cabinet.
Send us some recommendations, Carl. Man, we need to know what we need to know what you're taking.
I will do. I did actually send to London last year some stuff. Yeah.
I got a list.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's got a list. London probably regretted. Oh my God, what the fuck? Why did I say to Carl? Because I texted him like a
my
fucking.
mom has been trying to get me to do all that stuff too, and she got me like vitamin patches and like try to put them on me and sneak them on me, but we'll definitely give it a shot.
I think thing of like the protein powder or like the whatever it is, just being able to make like some juices or something, like having a NutriBullet in the van is dope. We picked that idea up from you. And then I know also like zinc is really good for like staying healthy and like not getting sick on the road. So
definitely. I mean, honestly, the first thing is when you introducing something new to your routine or to your days, you don't want to overcomplicate. You want to have something, straight to the point and simple, because if you end up enjoying and seeing the benefits, then you end up, bigging up your stash of vitamins. Because I mean, I'm telling you from myself, I used to just travel with like one multivitamin, which I think it's really important, because the multivit, you get like, you take one capsule, then you check in several different boxes. You check the zinc box, you check the vitamin A, vitamin B, blah 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 blah. That's. But then, which one do you go for, right? There's so many out there. Which one? We can talk offline about that. I'll send you some tips in regards to that. But the NutriBullet, man, that's a very very cheap, affordable meal that you can have a day. That will be just. I mean, for me, well, I'm. I travel with like I really the last few tours that I did now, I have a little Samsonite, and I'm traveling with like everything inside. It's like a little bag that contains like, dude, flax seeds, shea, wheat bran, cocoa powder, multivitamins, antioxidants, la 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 la, you name it. It's like
wow.
They
you are ready for anything, Carl.
Bro, yes. Come on. You gotta, because you know it very well. You guys have been so busy. I mean, you can't afford to get ill or not be, because it's not only not get ill, it's about how your brain is working. Are you clear-headed? Are you, how you feeling your whole self? And obviously, you're very young still, I consider myself extremely young still, even though I have lived a few years. But those things, they will, like, on the long run, play a massive role. And within the next 10, 15, 20 years, man, the world is going to change so much. And when it comes to nutrition and health, there's so much happening, and there's so much more coming. And living a beautiful life, followed by, the values that you guys share. The music that you do, doing what you love, with the prospect of like, keep on growing as a unit, as a team, dude, what's the reason to not feel like, yeah, I'm gonna live until 150 years old? Bring it on. You know what I mean?
I love that attitude. I like want to live with that.
Because the thing is, it's about living. It's not about how long you're gonna live. It's about what's the quality of your life, right? Because there's a lot of people that gets to the age of 70 or and by the way, I'm not 70 yet. But live up and then got like lots of different types of issues with like blood pressure and diabetes and this and that, and you can definitely avoid those. It's just a matter of learning a few things here and there. And unfortunately, we go to school and nobody teaches us those things, isn't it? I mean, you leave school and how many calories does a banana have? Why the hell do I need to know that? Well, you kind of have to, because so many things comes out of eating too many calories, and there are more people in the world now dying of too many calories than from in comparison to starvation. So yeah, I don't want to go on that down that path now, because then I just lose completely my my train of thought, and I want to be mindful of your time as well, guys. I want to ask you about in terms of how do you see yourselves as a band and as a unit?
A live band, like tour, get real experience playing songs live and getting our audience a little bit too. And like, I think we just have like a whole different perspective on the band. And like, I have no idea what these new songs are going to do for us. And especially being signed to a label now, to a major label, it's just going to be huge. And I don't think any of us have any idea where it's going to go, but I think it'll be good. I think our music's going to reach a lot of people, and I'm excited for it because it'll mean more opportunities to keep doing this thing.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. I love that. I think you guys really are doing lots of things right, and it was delightful to meet you all last year, and I'm very glad that things are going well, that you're getting the opportunities that you deserve, that you've got backing from good people, that believe in the band as well. And dude, honestly, I mean, I wish you all the absolute best, and I want to thank you all for your time today, for waking up a little bit early and jumping on this call and being here with me at the roller coaster. And dude, I hope I get to see you guys down the road. It's gonna be right, because you're never gonna be in LA this year.
We'll be in the UK, man. I want to visit badly.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully return to dust in Europe, huh?
Yeah,
have
man.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, if you guys need ever anything from me, you got my number.
Yeah, man. And if you ever want to chat again, we're like literally always around, and it's so good to hear your voice and like hear your words. They're so like moving and so motivating, so inspiring. Like
It's really
it's really great to hear. And yeah, I knew it was gonna be like this morning. I was just like, I'm about to get fired up. Like I know I am.
This is part one of the conversation, because I mean we could just like go into so many different directions, and just that moment that we tapped into, Graham brought the heaven and hell type of subject, and we can just dive into those and exchange so much information, because that's the beauty of life. I mean, we live in such a crazy world nowadays that people just don't even talk much to each other anymore. And I find it with the podcast thing really interesting. I mean, sometimes I do people that I've known for years, but just the fact that I'm sitting here having this hour-long conversation without interruptions, I mean, you get to know people so much better, and eventually, as things move along, I'll probably be going to be doing individually with you guys, so we can get to know each other better, talk about similar things that we talked here, but dive into other stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a privilege to know you all, and I'm very glad that you guys are doing super well. And come on, keep on coming, be positive, be grateful, be happy as you are, and fucking kick ass. And if I don't get to see you guys before your tour, go and get it, guys. Come on, you've got it. Go and
man.
get it.
We absolutely will. In the name of Carl.
In the name
of Carl. I'm gonna say that from at the UK show. I'm gonna be like, "This is for Carl," and it's gonna be the heaviest shit you've ever heard in your life.
Yes. Return to dust.
He's got the original.
Yeah, dude.
The OG. That's how you know he's a real one.
This stays with me, man. This is from the first, one of the first tours that Return to Dust did, right? It must have been from one of the very first.
It was the first.
It was the very first.
So there you go. This T-shirt one day will be a lot of money, my friends. A lot of money. Not gonna sell it, but it's gonna be worth it. All right, guys.
Yeah.
You have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for your time today.
All right, man. You too, man.
You too,
Much love.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
See ya.
Cheers. Peace.